All right, now we're going to go through actually collecting money on a job after it's been pushed into QuickBooks. Same thing as usual with QuickBooks, always be in the right network server. We're going to continue on down the path of Mr. Makalik. So we're going to start from the beginning. Essentially, the job was scheduled to be paid on site, so the customer is actually going to be providing the card to the repair technician, the card information to the repair tech. He provided me with that information, the payment method. So what I need to do is go to the Customers tab, go to the Customer Center, type in Mr. Makalik's name. You have to hit the search button. You can't hit enter. Don't know why, but it doesn't work. You get him pulled up, double click on his name, drop down to the payment settings, and then we can actually input the payment information. Now with our system, we can only house one credit card at a time. So if the customer calls to put a new card on file, you have to erase the existing one and then update it with a new one. Just make sure they know that once we remove that old card, it's gone. And the new one's going to be the one that we will be charging for all services moving forward, especially in regards to weekly recurring services. So in the case of, say, Mr. Makalik was on weekly service, but he wanted to use a different card to actually pay for this bill, we would put that card on file, process the payment, and then we have to put his other card back on file so that one gets used for his weekly services. But yeah, we just go through. We accept American Express, Discover, Master, and Visa. As far as cards are concerned, type in the information. Once it's typed in there and saved, it does block out all this information except for the last 4 digits. And then, yeah, you don't have access to those numbers ever again. It's good information that you can, of course, let the customer know if they ask that if anybody else comes into the QuickBooks file, they're not going to have access to that card information. It gets blocked out. So once we have the payment settings in, we just hit OK so it saves. And we need to go over to the actual invoice in question. Double click. If you go to the top banner here, you see all these options. There's receive payments. We can apply credits. So if a customer has credits on file for some reason, say that we did a service call, charged them $70. The deal was that we were going to give them $40 of that back if they approved the bid. And so they came in and they actually approved the bid. At this point, you could actually create a credit memo in the system for $40 and then have this quote right here ready to go, and then we apply that $40 back to this invoice and it'll deduct it from the total. So that's one path to actually get that taken care of. But for this one, we're just going to receive the payments. So you get into this screen, you have your choices of how they're going to be paying. You type in the amount of money that they are paying. You can do partial payments at this point too. If they're only going to pay half right now, you can charge them half, but they're going to pay in full. Once that's in there, hit the MasterCard button and then process the payment. All right, transaction successful. That's always good news. Hit close. This little screen is going to pop up. Exit. Come to the bottom. Save and close. It takes you immediately to the actual invoice showing a paid in full check mark on it. Go to the email tab. Up here, we're going to email them this invoice, and we can go ahead and send it. Notice this says your September 2018 invoice is attached. You can modify this information. You can change it. It is a September 2000 invoice, but you can put other details, installation of equipment, stuff like that. I'm not going to do that. It's not necessary. Just hit send now. Hit continue. That pops up every time, and then you actually have to type in the password and then hit sign in. And now it is being invoiced to the customer, and that's it. That's putting that payment information on file, and that's actually collecting the money on the job.